Hello, and welcome to Where You Not Entertained, where two film fans discuss their favorite flicks. I'm Daniel.
And I'm James.
And I said film friends.
Yeah. I think you're still thrown off by the last few episodes where I kind of messed with your head in your intro, so you're just like waiting for me to jump in there and ruin it for you.
I am, so much so that I can't say film fans, but hey, you know.
They get the picture.
Okay, well, as long as y'all know it. It's not like I haven't said it 100 times.
Well, not understanding what somebody's saying could be relevant to the topic we're going to be speaking about tonight.
It very well may be. We're going to be going into the British territory.
Yeah, and, you know, The Gentleman is the newest Guy Ritchie movie. And it follows in his old vein of Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels and Snatch and Revolver. Revolver was him, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
It follows in Guy Ritchie's style.
I mean, Guy Ritchie has some other things that
Aladdin.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that's a Guy Ritchie? Well, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. But then what else has he done recently? He's been, and there was a couple other ones that were stepping out of that kind of London gangster crime network style that those were so famous for. Because when I think of a Guy Ritchie movie, that's what I think of.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Did he do Time Machine or something?
Did he? He did. I mean, so he did King Arthur, right?
Yeah.
So that's medieval time type stuff. It's not really.
Oh yeah, the King Arthur recently with Charlie Hunnam.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that movie actually.
Okay, I didn't see it. It looked like an interesting take, but just wasn't something that piqued my interest.
Yeah, no, it's a very interesting take. I think it's good. I think it was done really well.
Okay.
I like Guy Ritchie's style.
Yeah, I do too.
So for me to watch a movie that he's done, it's easy for me to be like, okay, I can dig this. Even if there are things that I'm like, if this weren't done in this style, I might think it's weird or, you know, if I hadn't known it was Guy Ritchie.
He's a little over the top sometimes.
Yeah.
I hate to put it this way because it's such a downplay in a lot of conversations, but it's kind of Michael Bay-ish in that he has his own style to it, and it's really over the top and flashy. If you don't like that style, you probably won't like his movies.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the good ones do. I mean, Quentin Tarantino is the same way.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Tarantino's got a very individualistic style like that.
Yeah, and if it's not like fucking bowl of blood in your face kind of splatter whenever something happens, then this can't be a Quentin Tarantino movie.
Right. If there's not gore or at least heavy blood at some point in time, then it feels very unusual.
Yeah. Exactly.
But similar for, movies like this. Guy Ritchie doesn't shy away from blood splatter either.
Nah.
This one, though, I really enjoyed. I think that this is a true to form, come back to the old style of Guy Ritchie.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy with it. Now, that being said, I can see how it's not going to be the movie for everybody.
Sure, yeah.
Because the accents are heavy. There's lots of slang. There's lots of language.
Yeah.
And so it's not going to hit everybody's nerve, but I absolutely love, Snatch and Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. So
yeah,
I kind of felt obliged to like this because it's so damn good in that same genre.
Yeah. I think that this is going... so far this year, and now granted, I haven't watched a ton of the new movies this year just because trying to keep up with award seasons and all that.
Right.
But so far this year, I would say that this is my favorite movie.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're 2 months in, so...
Well, yeah. So far this year, I said.
Still. Yeah, no, it was fun. I think McConaughey was awesome in it. Mm-hmm. He is a great choice for a Guy Ritchie movie because most Guy Ritchie movies kind of make you want to root for what could easily be framed in a different movie as a fairly bad guy.
Yeah.
And so, but he does a good job of making the criminal underworld really cool.
Right.
And
sophisticated.
Yeah. And McConaughey kind of has an image of being really cool and sophisticated.
Right.
And so it just felt natural. The one that surprised me, though, absolutely, was Hugh Grant.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of came
really
out of
different
nowhere.
For him.
Yeah. And he was so good. And the way that him and Charlie Hunnam played off each other, Hunnam?
Yes.
Yeah, Hunnam. I'm sorry.
No, yeah.
I never get names right. You know
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
But the way they played off each other was set up so perfectly right in the beginning with the, let's play a game.
Right. I don't want to play a game with you, Fletcher.
Oh, come on. And just like the slow delivery and like the kind of jockeying of wills that they're having there just played out through the rest of the movie. And I felt like it was a great way to frame what was essentially like 75% of the movie as flashbacks.
Right.
And some of them were guesses as well. Fishing for information almost.
Yeah.
Or at least the the sprucing up of to put into a script. Mm-hmm. Because there's that kind of like he wrote a script about the movie, the story of the movie.
Right.
Yeah, there's kind of like a meta thing going there.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just really interesting, man. It's super complex. Mm-hmm. And Guy Ritchie movies do also have a tendency to bounce plots really fast. And what you thought was the main plot in the beginning of the movie can actually not be the plot you're rooting for by the end of the third act.
Right.
And so, because events just happen so fast in a Guy Ritchie movie that it can be a little to keep up with. But I felt like he did a really good job of keeping it succinct in this. I understood what was happening the entire time.
Yeah, absolutely. That was one of the things that I really liked about it is the clever banter and the...
Oh, God.
That setup at the very beginning where he comes in, where Ray comes in, and Fletcher is just hiding in his house, essentially.
Yeah.
Sitting
in the dark.
Yeah. Drinking his fine, what was that? It was either, well, whatever. Whiskey. We'll just say whiskey.
It was a scotch.
I think it was a scotch.
Yeah, it was like he said it was something like a $15,000 scotch or something like that.
Something crazy. But yeah, once they kind of started that, and then, they're moving around, going different places, like in his house, having this conversation, and it's kind of a get to the point. Ray is like get to the point, but Fletcher's really trying to tell the story,
right? And
that's what he wants to do is tell the story, and then how that actually plays in toward the ending of the movie. Spoiler alert, as usual, but the fact that he was there and wanting to tell that story, and basically what Ray had set up in him pursuing that, basically set up Fletcher,
right? Yeah,
and played into Ray's hands.
Right. Fletcher thought he was being clever by breaking in, and it turned out the whole time that he knew he was going to be there.
Right.
And had plans going behind him and was trying to keep him there for a set amount of time so
that
he could rummage through his stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He wanted to find out what he knew.
Yep. The good old double cross.
Exactly. I would think that Matthew McConaughey's character, Mickey Pearson, did a fantastic job of picking a right-hand man.
For real, man. Yeah, no, I actually really loved the character Ray. Yeah. I think that Hunnam did a great job of portraying him and keeping him interesting and doing the dirty work without feeling like a bad guy.
Yeah, he didn't just come in busting heads whenever he was doing stuff.
Right.
He took a very specific approach.
Diplomatic almost.
Yeah.
Attempted a diplomatic approach. At first.
Exactly.
Yeah, but everybody in this movie is kind of a shithead. Some of them in great ways, and some of them in you're gonna die or get the crap kicked out of you, man. Like you're making some bad choices.
Yeah, exactly.
And one of them though I was really shocked by too was Colin Farrell. Yeah, and I say shocked. I mean he's so good at bouncing around different like characters, but his was really funny and really likable as well. Yeah, and he was essentially in this the good guy. Yeah, he was the closest thing to a moral compass there was. Yeah. Because he was willing to do a few bad things to keep some kids out of trouble, and then he wanted out. He just wanted out. Right.
He didn't want him doing the bad shit to begin with. He
Right.
was like, what the hell?
Yeah. And he
What
was
is
always
wrong
throwing his
with
hands
you?
up going, look, man, I ain't a gangster. Don't pull me into this.
Yeah.
So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So yeah, he was the good guy, but he was bad at being good. If that makes sense.
No, I mean, I think that this is absolutely being a gangster movie. And,
He was a good guy that was good at being bad. How's that? Is that better?
Oh, he could be tough,
Yeah.
but he essentially was a good guy.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean? Like the only people he did anything to is he slapped around some kids who were trying to
Knife him. Yeah.
and then invited them to come to the gym and learn to box with him and like kind of keep an eye on him. And then the other time is he shot two Russian assassins.
He also drugged. Yeah.
Yeah, he
That
did do
happened.
that. He did make a guy screw a pig.
Yeah.
And he actually also did tie a dude up and put him in the back of a trunk. And when he ran away, got hit by a car or a train.
Train. Yeah.
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 Okay, maybe he was a little less good than I'm giving him credit for on second thought.
He was I mean, yeah. I think he was good until he couldn't be,
Yeah.
because he again was doing all this stuff to save the kids.
Yeah, and this also isn't the movie that is super heavy on a real normal morality.
No.
You know, it's a gangster movie.
It's morally ambiguous.
Yeah, I think it's amoral to
Okay.
a degree.
Sure.
I mean, it's like a thieves' code is the level of morality that this has.
Sure.
Honor code,
Which is a level
you know.
of morality. I mean, they go and they try to save the girl from the crack, essentially the crack den.
Yeah.
And they do get her out of there. And she still ends up killing herself with smack anyway. But
ODing, yeah.
they do things that, like, they're not just out wreaking havoc. That's not.
Right, no. McConaughey's character, Mickey, he seems like he wants to have that kind of Robin Hood attitude where he's making illegal money, but he's trying to do it and still, like, be a respected part of society.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. As much as he can.
It's an interesting
From where he
take.
came from.
Yeah, we don't see that very often.
I found it interesting as well when he was talking to I can't remember his name, the guy that was going to buy his empire from him.
Oh, yeah. Geez, I can't remember his name either. It was like Michael or something like that. It was something super simple.
Matthew. Yeah.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah. So, talking to him about who's played by Jeremy Strong, which also did a really good job. Talking to him about the fact that the business itself is, as Matthew put it, 10 years away from being legitimate anyway. Mm-hmm. But coming up how he did, he can't be the one that runs the business, because it's got to have the person that runs it has to have clean hands.
Right.
Which was, one of the reasons he was talking about getting out, because he was in a good place to do it, and it was about that time, and he would essentially be giving it to somebody that could run it legitimately, whereas with his past and reputation, not going to happen. You can't take essentially a mob boss and then just make him a good guy. Like, you can't be like, hey, mob boss, here's your construction company that has to be legit, and expect that it's going to actually stay that way. It's going to be run like a mob boss is running it.
Right.
Which is not legit.
Yeah, even if it turns legal, even if marijuana turned legal in Britain in 10 years, he still would probably run on the fringes of whatever legality that was.
Yeah.
And so, no, I see what you're saying there. One thing that I did want to bring up real quick regarding Matthew, I was looking at some like reviews and stuff after I watched the movie just to see what the people were saying. Mm-hmm. And I heard some people saying that they didn't understand what happened. They thought that that Mickey got out at the end. Like he got out of the game at the end.
No.
And I was like, I thought he expressly said to Matthew when he was asking for the money and the pound of flesh, mm-hmm. that he said, I'm going to keep the company. This is to repay me for all the troubles you've just caused.
Yeah, exactly.
So he not only is not getting the company, he's having to pay.
He's losing
Mickey.
$200 and some odd $million.
And carving a piece of himself off.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's what I thought too. And so.
Yeah. No, that's exactly. He screwed the pooch.
Yeah.
Big time.
And so Mickey never got out. Well, maybe later, but.
Yeah, he might find another buyer, but.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah. At this point, no.
That's what I thought, but because I haven't gone back and seen it twice. But I just want to check with you on that one.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of, not kind of, he went into cahoots with Dry Eye in order to drive down the price of the business, which is, as a buyer, is a good business plan. But the problem is, if you can't control who and how you're doing that, it's going to bite you in the ass, especially when you're dealing with somebody that is as intelligent and sophisticated as Mickey is.
Right.
And so that's what happened. You put the pieces together. They listened to Fletcher, who was following him around and getting all the deets. And they listened and put it all together and went, I see what you're doing now. I see how this is happening.
Yeah.
And I'm going to still pretend like this is a deal that's going to go down. And while you're talking to me about how little my business is worth now because of all the problems, and you're lying to my face and insulting me all at the same time, I'm going to take it and smile, because in the next 15 minutes, I'm going to tell you how you royally screwed up. Mm-hmm. And you're going to owe me.
Here's a shovel. Continue digging. Yeah, you're just digging your own grave, bud.
Yeah.
By the way, you just name dropped Dry Eyes recently.
Yeah.
I had to say Henry Golding was awesome in this.
Yeah.
He was so good. Like that just level of ambitious monster kind of, and they framed it up so well, because when you first see him, it's from Fletcher's perspective in his screenplay. Mm-hmm. And so he's just unloading a submachine gun on top of like a storage crate or something at the docks, and like screaming like a warrior or something.
Yeah.
And that's not who he is, but it's a great way to like post up a cartoonish version of him first and then bring him back to reality.
I love how Ray's like, that doesn't sound like the Dry Eye I've heard of.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see if you're listening.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good try.
He was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's done quite a few good things.
Was there anything else you wanted to cover before we got to the final piece?
Well, I'll go ahead and say that Tom Wu was funny as Lord George, and I say the only reason I say funny is because he wasn't really in it that much, except for when he was spewing across the table.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a Tarantino-esque moment.
Yeah.
Like that was some projectile vomit.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, it was.
I've never seen anything like that in real person. It may happen every once in a while, but I've never encountered that in my life.
I don't want to. I don't need any exorcist on me. Thank you.
Yeah, no. I mean, Mickey didn't walk away from that clean.
No, he did not.
Literally dirty.
Yeah. He tried to jump back, but there's no escaping that.
And while we're sending some shout outs, I mean, Michelle Dockery was great as Mickey's wife.
Yep.
She was just charming as hell and just as much of a badass as her husband was.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah.
She domed 2 dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much props to her. No, she actually did a really good job playing a character that fit, right? The hard-nosed, still, caring wife and all that, but very hard-nosed about it, and it's very business-minded, much like Mickey.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. Well, and I think that covers most of it. Let's get to this part. What was your favorite scene, Daniel?
Let's get to this part.
Yeah, this part right here. The one we do every single time.
Yeah. I think that my favorite scene is actually the reveal to Fletcher.
When the metal box is introduced?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So when Ray and Coach are at Ray's house and Fletcher's there to pick up his money, and he breaks it all down for him about why he's not getting any money.
Right.
Here's your backup plans. Yes, we found them.
All of them.
And get in this box.
Yeah. Because guess what, homie? You're about to die.
Yeah.
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 He talks his way out.
in the box and he got out of the box.
Because he's a talker, man.
Yeah.
He talked his way out of it.
He did. Which was very kind of fortunate. Because at least they know that the Russians were after him.
Right.
Coach comes back and kills the two assassins that are coming around the corner.
Right. So they would have been fine either way. And I think it would have worked out either way. They didn't need Fletcher, though. Because it caused Ray to try to reach Mickey, but it was too late at that point in time.
Yes.
And Ray basically stood up and immediately tried to contact Mickey. After that didn't work, he pulled his gun. But it was Coach who ended up seeing the Russians and come back and killing him anyways.
Sure.
So, like, regardless if Fletcher had just gotten shot inside the box or whatever was going to happen.
Yeah.
And Ray was sitting there. Coach still would have killed the two guys, and Mickey still would have gotten locked in the car, and the guys would have the boxer kids would have also shot up the Russians. So
yeah,
like it all still would have worked out exactly the same regardless.
That is true.
So Fletcher got away with it, man. Because he talked himself out of that box. Because otherwise, all that would have gone down, and then it would have been even madder.
Right.
But he got to run away in the chaos.
Yeah. Yes, he did. And those damn kids.
It's a good scene, man.
It is.
That is a good one. Yeah. It kind of ties everything together.
Yeah. So that was mine. What's yours?
Mine actually was with Coach.
Uh-huh.
When you first meet him inside the deli or the sandwich shop.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And just the way he's goading the kids. He would, say something. Something really hurts. Like, it cuts, man.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to say?
Be clever.
F you, man. He was like, oh, come on. Like, that's the best you've got? Like, it's really well done. And he's able to, like, beat the hell out of him without beating the hell out of him. He slaps him around for trying to stab him.
Right.
And being, ruffians.
Yeah.
Grabbing an old man's hat and stuff like that. But he doesn't hurt any of them.
No.
And when he clearly could have.
Yeah. I would imagine that if he had actually punched them instead of slapping them, they would have been in a different world of pain.
Yeah, but it was one of those things that I was like, oh, this is the Colin Farrell part. Because I knew he was in the movie, but I didn't know what he was doing. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, this is the Colin Farrell we're getting. I am excited. I hope he's on screen for more than like 5 minutes because, hey, it's a Ritchie movie. You could have a huge name actor who literally gets a 5-minute part.
Right.
And so I was very pleased to see him come back. But that was just a pleasant surprise because like this is going to be a good movie if I get more of this.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah, it was. And it does kind of set him up, who his character really is. Because he wasn't trying to hurt him.
Tough guy with a soft heart.
Yeah. He's trying to teach him.
All right. Well, then I think that pretty much covers it for The Gentleman.
Yeah.
Love this movie, by the way. And we didn't say it, but I'm pretty sure, I think going into this, if you know our repertoire, we were going to be entertained by this.
Yes.
Very much so. Had a good time. Might even go back and watch this a second time if I get a chance.
I definitely will.
But yeah. Well, we appreciate you guys coming and joining us. Make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoyed the episode, and join us next time on Were You Not Entertained?